Yo, and we are back. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James. I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen this video, but that's okay. Joining me as always is my girl, Mrs. Bess. Say what's up to the people.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you guys for joining us today. We are doing Belle Collective Season 4, Episode 5 recap and review. This video will be short, but nonetheless, it's going to be entertaining because I have some opinions about this. So I'm going to go off camera because my bars are a little low here. So I'm going to make sure, because I'm probably freezing every 10 seconds. So sorry about that. I will go off camera, but I'll be back to pop every now and then. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with this video. So all I'm gonna say right now to start this off is Akeisha. Just when you were not getting on my nerves this season, just when I thought, I was going to enjoy you, here you go, this episode. And I told y'all, go back into my last couple of videos, maybe episode 1 or 2, where we were talking about Ferris Street, and I Googled Ferris Street for y'all, and I said it is still dilapidated and everything. I told y'all this was going to be some bullshit. I told y'all. So, before we get to Akeisha, let's talk about Glenn and Letitia for a second. So, we pick up where we left off last week with Glenn and Letitia shooting in a commercial for this Black-owned bank. And they're in the bedroom arguing about the percentage of how much he's getting paid and her lawyers and the fact that the commercial was in Letitia's name. It was just so ridiculous. And I was like, oh my God. And then, to hit it where it hurts, Glenn was like, Cliff was right about this and everything. And it threw Letitia completely off. She was like, why are you listening to Cliff? And he don't know what he's talking about. And it was just like, I'm sick of you two. I am sick of you two. I'm sick of you two. Glenn, what the hell is going on between you and Cliff? What is going on there? Because it's not making sense. It's not making sense whatsoever. Uh-oh, did that go? Oh, okay. I fixed it. Okay. So hold on. Sorry, y'all. I had a little echo. I was hearing myself. So, in terms of that, they, pull it through and shoot the commercial. Well, one of them did. Letitia was so thrown off by her argument that she was just stuck. And it was like, oh my God, for the one time that you look unprofessional, here it is again. Look, Letitia, I can't with you. How did you feel watching that scene between them two?
First of all, they are an embarrassment.
How did you feel watching that scene between the two?
They are definitely an embarrassment to marriages everywhere. Listen, yes, marriage is hard work, and yes, people go through things in marriage, and even infidelity is something that's more common than people would like to admit in marriage. But I think where there has to be like a boundary, and I think on both sides, she and him in their own individual ways have crossed the boundary of respect for marriage and for each other. I feel like Letitia is one of those people who probably changed because she got some money. I genuinely feel that way. And I say that because while there is a lot of good that she doesn't behave like someone who has something to lose. And that doesn't always mean avoiding fights and stuff. It's just how you conduct yourself when doing business, even with other Black business owners. It just was not a good look. Personally, if you're married and your marriage is good, I don't see the issue in a business deal being in one person's name. I just did an endorsement deal with someone who has a clothing company, which I'll be wearing on my live song review on Friday, but it was done in my name, but my husband still reaped the benefits. But like, if your relationship's good, you should trust that if the money's coming to the same household or a person in the household is going to come to you. I don't know. They shouldn't have had that conversation at all while there. He didn't really say too much. That was more so Letitia's F up. But Letitia is not accountable really for what she does when she makes a mistake. And I think that's why it's hard for her to rectify her mistakes. So,
Very good. Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like to me, she does give like new money and, you know, new attitude kind of situation. And when it comes to Glenn, I just don't understand for the life of me why all of this rigmarole and all of this foolishness that they're putting on this camera is resonating in the way that it does. For me, I just don't understand. Like, either you want to be with him or you don't. Because we know in real time they're together today. So I don't understand what this was all leading up to. No, I can't wait to this reunion because to me, I need answers.
I
Because
think Letitia loves that man, but Letitia seems like the type of broad that cares a great deal. Everyone cares about how they're perceived, but I think Letitia cares more than the average Joe what people think about her being the popular girl, being the it girl. I personally don't think she sees herself in a light that could go beyond Mississippi, personally. And I think it definitely shows just in her behaviors and all that she does. She's got to stop trying to do what she thinks everyone else wants or what looks good and actually focus on stuff. Because if you look at it, it's like, yeah, her and Glenn are toxic, but obviously they love each other. I feel like he gets how do you say blindsided a lot when on the show, because it'd probably be all good when the cameras are gone, and then the cameras start filming and suddenly Marie's got a beef with him and all this extra shit's happening. I really think she's just I've been said Letitia's a fraud. I've been said that, y'all. I've been said I think she's a fraud, but not as like, someone breaking the law, but I see through her bullshit.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that because trust me, that last part, oh yeah, we need to talk about that, y'all. So the next thing is Willie and Akeisha. Basically, from my standpoint of this, and I could be wrong, Miss, because I was so pissed off at this whole situation that I may be misconstruing it. But from what I gather, Akeisha had a proposal for Ferris Street to buy either the entire block or the land on the block. I don't know. It's all dilapidated, so you don't know what her plan was. But she did not get approved for the proposal. So Willie basically told her, okay, well, you need to come back home to New York or New Jersey, wherever they live, basically. You need to come back home. Because what's the point of you being down there? The whole purpose of you coming back to Jackson was to basically revitalize this street. Now, we'll get more in detail when she has her conversation with Marie. But this right here, this scene right here, as soon as I saw this, I said, see, I told y'all she was not going to be able to do this. It was the exact same thing Letitia went through. It was the exact same thing. So my whole thing about this whole process, and why this is why I'm so passionate and pissed off about this, is because when you look at the history of Ferris Street, the idea of Black ownership on that street today would have been huge. I don't know why the city of Jackson is like so steady of this being dilapidated and
I have an idea. I have an idea.
Please expound on this because I need to know.
Remember, Jackson is over 80% African American, so I would assume and hope that that translates through their local governments. But honestly, we don't know how known most of these women were prior to this show. I hadn't really heard of many of them. I had heard of Tambra because I have family in Mississippi, so I know she's on radio. But other than that, I hadn't really heard of these women too much. I'm not taking away from what they do. I'm just saying that maybe being affiliated with a reality TV show, even if it's affiliated with Oprah, sometimes cities and governments, politics, they don't want to be affiliated with that. So maybe that's a piece of it. Because other than that, they all have the money, the accolades, apparently the credit, and the care being from the area to do so. So I feel like it might be an image thing. That's the only thing that can make sense. Or the government is hating.
And that's the thing. And so I don't know what Akeisha was thinking. I'm gonna expound more on this because she gave a little bit more information to Marie. But do you feel that she should go back home to New York or New Jersey, wherever it is she came from? Do you
Listen,
feel like
ain't
she
no
should go
way
back?
in hell that you need to move your family, your children. I understand wanting to go home and help your hometown. I get that, but sometimes you got to help your hometown from a distance. There's plenty of people who live far, far away from their hometowns, but still, do things or set up events, yearly or however the hell you want to call it for their city. Like, you don't have to be there to support it. Her husband, he's the income. And no shade to Jackson. I'm trying to find a respectful way to say it because I have family there, but with the water crisis, which is still happening, going on down there, the lack of a sustainable economy, like there's just a lot of issues going on in that state as a whole. Look up the statistics on Mississippi. Like, it's amazing the state is still somehow afloat. So it doesn't make sense to me to take your children away from a place like Jersey's not the best either, and New York's not, but I'm sure they'll get a better education and clean water while there. It doesn't make sense for her to have moved her whole family down to Jackson for that reason. Like, to me, it didn't seem worth it. And I hope Jackson can get better. And she's probably like, well, people got to move to Jackson in order for it to become something. But like, yeah, I wouldn't have done it. Aikisha, she gonna follow behind him though.
She is, and it's annoying me because I felt like you were just wasting your time in all honesty. But anyways, moving on from there, Essie is renovating her childhood home. She unfortunately had lost her parents, and the home was willed to her. And as she's going through the renovations, Marie stops by and explains to Essie that her mom sold one of her mink coats for drugs. And I was like, okay, see, this is where I I don't want to sound mean, but if you know that your mom is not 100% healed when it comes to her getting out of rehab and her relapsing to go back on drugs, why would you have any of your possessions in reach of her where that could happen? Like, why isn't she in some type of care facility? Like, to me, that's just, I don't know. What did you feel looking at that scene? Because I was looking at Marie like, why would you even have your possessions in close proximity of her where that could happen?
Marie doesn't understand. I think Marie is still like, when it comes to her mom, she still is a little girl just holding out hope that everything's going to get better. Marie has the education to understand addiction. I mean, she works in mental health. So Marie is smart, but I always say to people, the people who train in psychology or train as social workers or train to become therapists and doctors, like that heal the mind and the spirit, those are often the people who have not done that healing for themselves or are unable to. I know I can attest to that being a psych graduate. So I feel like because it's her mom and all of that, she's hoping for it. I also feel like you can't push anybody into rehab. You can have all the money and all the resources in the world. Until Marie's mom wants to get sober, there's nothing that any fucking body can do to get her there. Personally, I think Marie needs to let go, but she's not going to let go. And I just don't like how she talks about it either on TV, because it's like, dang, like, okay, you have a therapist, but you tell us everything you talk about in therapy. What's the point of HIPAA? Like, come on, Marie.
That's what I'm saying. What's the point of HIPAA? What's the point of all this? Because it just makes it seem like you're just trying to exploit your mama at the cost of $1. And I don't like that, because I feel like your mom has a real problem. And for you to sit up there and just, talk about how she's selling your items and stuff like that to actually buy the drugs and give
It's weird.
explicit details, it's weird. It's like, why you could have just said, look, my mom has relapsed again and I'm stressed. I have to deal with my grandbabies, got to deal with my kids, got to deal with being, on top of that, being sick. And I'm like, isn't there some aunties? You ain't got no siblings. Like, where's everybody else? That's
I
none of my
also
issue.
don't
Where
like
is
how she
everybody
has
else?
her daughter around that. I hate that part when I
That
saw
too. Yeah.
her daughter, and her daughter is smart and at an age where she can't understand what's happening and right from wrong. You know, yes, it's important to educate your kids and let them know what's going on, but in the appropriate way. Let them know what's going on, but don't allow them to sit in it and experience and attain their own traumatic memories. You know, so I don't know what the hell Marie's doing. I don't know why she's on our show, because outside of this storyline with her mother that we don't want, why is she here? I would rather see Marie like on a show similar to where Selena, JJ's ex, was on Dance Moms, because her daughter dances with those teams that were on that. Like, even if she's not, they could follow her, like having a daughter that's always moving. Like, I don't understand why she chooses to like talk about her mama and be messy on this show when she could
Right.
do better things. I don't get Marie at all.
I
I'm
don't
trying to
care
understand.
either, and I agree 100% with you there. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is Latrice and Cliff. They go by her salon that is still being renovated. So she inquired her brother to do the renovations, but her brother specializes in landscaping. And I'm trying to figure out, at what point did you think in yourself, Latrice, that somebody who's not even qualified to do the renovation is in charge of the renovation, and then you get mad because the shit ain't done? Please
Listen,
explain to me how that happened.
I'm a firm believer in it. Listen, I'm sorry to my family because some of them subscribe to your channel. I love y'all, but hear me out. B3ST Entertainment, be it Josiah's Media Entertainment Company, the merch, all of it, they have not shit to do with it. My husband did music years ago. His mom wanted to, manage him, all that. We learned real quick. Listen, sometimes a family, you got to love them, spoil them a little bit with the benefits of the success of your business, and leave it there. Because Latrice, your brother, looked like in the face, like contracting and putting the building together might be hard for him. He just looked. I believe mowing a lawn is what her brother should be doing. He looked lost.
Well, damn.
And then she
I
came.
wasn't gonna say all that. Yeah, she was all dramatic in the scene. I was like, girl, look, you do your brother wasn't qualified. I get we try to help our family to, the detriment that, we have it to give. So why not give it? But you also got to work for it. That's not what he's supposed to do. Let somebody else come in and renovate it, and then he go and plant the plants out the front of the place. So do something like that.
She probably is trying to save $1 because she prepping to leave Cliff's old ass.
But in simultaneously, it's funny you mention that, because what she does is she asks Cliff if he could take over doing the renovations and building, because that's what he's good at. And I'm looking at her like, oh Lord, this is another thing for him to hold over your head. And
Building's gonna
because
have a permanent smell of like brown liquor coming off of someone's pores.
oh, okay, I'm not doing this with her today. So that was basically it. So Cliff decides he takes over. He says, that's the reason why she married me, because I could fix everything. And I'm looking at her, looking at him like, okay, you got you somebody that was insecure as hell and had daddy issues, and it worked to your advantage. Let's not mistake what that really is, Cliff. Please and thank you. So the next scene is Aikisha and Marie. They meet up on a play date. Well, Marie brings her child. Aikisha's kids is sick, and I don't know why they still agree. They could have just met at the coffee shop, but whatever. It's a scene is a scene. Carlos shall slip in there. So Aikisha brings up, the plan and how it was actually not approved. But at this point, she is filing for an appeal to have it reconsidered. So Marie asked, basically, is she doing what Letitia was trying to do, which was, revitalize the entire street? And Aikisha was kind of like taken back, and she immediately kind of had like this, not so much of an attitude, but kind of felt offended by, the comparison off rip. And I was looking at Aikisha like, that's exactly what Letitia tried to do if you watch season 1 and season 2. Like, I don't understand why you would even get in your feelings about this. So
She understand why.
No, I know she do. She just over here bullshit. That's why I said I don't. That's why I told y'all. See, a lot of people on social media, when you comment on these little channels or whatever, little fan pages, they're like, "No, Akeisha already owned property on there. Akeisha already got it, got it. Letitia was the one that's faking." And sure enough, like Marie said in her confessional, it seems like her and Letitia are in the exact same place with this entire thing because she couldn't get it done. Now,
In the same place, but I understood Aikisha in that instant. I think any good business person would not want to be compared to Letitia. I'm sorry. I know she's done a lot and is getting, her entrepreneurship going, but she's incredibly unprofessional. Apparently, she serves cold food. She accuses the wrong people of being unprofessional. And when she has big meetings with Black owned banks and an opportunity to make Black people look good, she picks a fight. She just lacks professionalism. So as a business person, I wouldn't want to be like put in the same boat as her. But it doesn't take away from the fact that you got as far as Letitia did, Akeisha. So maybe y'all need to work together.
and that's what I was going to bring up, but
you
let me
know,
finish. Let me finish this real quick. So, Akeisha's explained the other proposal to Marie, saying that she wants to buy all of the land so that way she can revitalize it. But the state of Jackson said that she couldn't buy a building that's next door to the property that she already owns. But Akeisha doesn't want to do that, and I was like, why not? Because to me, if you a businesswoman like you're claiming to be on this TV show, buying a building that's adjacent to the land that you already own, you could make that anything. Word on the curb is that Willie owns either a sports bar or something already in New York. So why not make that franchise and open it up in Jackson and show people what that's about out there? Maybe that could work. And then when that is booming and you're actually giving employment to the city, then buy the place next door to that and just keep it going and going. So the fact that she was like, no, I want to build already on the land that I own, and it was like, oh my God, you have
I
a way
personally
in.
think she don't have time. Her kids are very young, and young kids are hard
Look,
for anybody. She's got a bunch of kids that are young, a husband, and some other
didn't
stuff.
nobody tell her to have no kids at no 45 years old? And
Nobody told her, but I'm just saying.
didn't
I
nobody
feel
tell
like
her to do that? That's what I'm saying. That, oh well, you look, you came on this TV. Let me explain something to y'all because this is where Akeisha came on this TV show talking about she the real queen of Jackson and that she gonna get this fair street up and running. She came on here floating like that was, this was her claim and this is what she is meant to do and that she could do what Letitia couldn't. And obviously you couldn't because this is you're stuck just like she was. And Marie made that obvious. And that's one thing I could not take from, even though I don't like Marie, I could not take that from her because she was absolutely right. You couldn't do what you were gloating about. And
yeah,
that's what people need to understand. It's not about, Letitia being unprofessional or Letitia's, stunting for the show. Akeisha literally could not do the same thing. So it was like, it's stupid for you to even exploit this plan to Marie or even say anything. I wouldn't have said anything because as soon as you explain what you were trying to do, it sounds like, well, damn, you have the way in. Just take it. Like I would take, if I was revitalizing Paris Street, if this were me, I would take what I can get until I can have it all. That's kind of where my mindset is. So if I have the wherewithal to buy the building next door, I'm going to do so and continue to buy until I own it all.
yeah.
That's monopoly.
The thing of
That's
it is, the scene to me and as a whole, I know a lot of people may disagree with what I'm going to say, seemed staged and like it was bullshit because I have a feeling she's known that this proposal was not approved for some time. And she's probably known that Willie wanted her to, come back if it didn't work out. And then it was very convenient how literally the episode prior, Marie's looking like a fool, not knowing shit. Now it's like Keisha's turn. So I'm just looking at it all like it's too convenient. I don't trust any of it. But I hope that this cast learns over the many seasons they've had. We're in season 4. I hope they learn, like, don't talk about shit till y'all really about it and have, contract signed, down payment secured, your fees paid, escrows complete. Like I need them to like not tell us about it until it's actually, come like theirs or completed. The deal is done, if that makes sense. Because then you're just gonna look like a fool, no matter what anyone says. So.
And once again, I completely agree. So moving into last part of this conversation, Marie was then trying to poke at her, says that, oh, it looks like the blueprint you have is Letitia. And Akeisha followed up and says that Letitia can't afford the blueprint I have. And I said, okay.
She can't.
Damn. Well, okay. Well,
it's like, do you have
yeah,
a problem
she didn't have to go
with
there.
Letitia? Do you have a problem with Letitia? Because you threw. I understand not wanting to be compared to someone who's like known as being new to business, doing bad business, and all of that. But like, you don't have to kick people while they're down or put them down or anything like that. So now I'm looking like, do you have a beef with Letitia, Akeisha? Like,
You know what it's given, and I hate I have to say this because I don't want to put this on her like this, but it's given that she was mad that Carlos didn't approach her with the concept of this show versus approaching Letitia with the concept of this show. That's what it's giving to me.
Letitia was approached because the people on the show, even if relationships are rocky now, she seemed to have had a relationship with each person.
Yeah, she was definitely the connector.
Yeah,
to them all.
Akeisha is not a connector, and you need more to make.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's giving. That's what it's giving, though. It's giving that she was mad that she wasn't approached with this concept, considering that she owns land on the very street that they were trying to revitalize season one. So that's what it's given to me. I could be wrong, and I don't really care one way or the other. But that's what it's
reality shows. A lot of times they'll start like, "This is what we do. This is the idea," and then as seasons change, so do what happens on the show. The storyline of each season should be different. It can't be every season y'all trying to revitalize a street. It's reality TV. So if that is what like Keisha's mad over, like, girl, get over it and go to New Jersey.
That's what I'm saying, girl. Look, Akeisha, let this be your last season, because as this season progressed and last season, you really wasn't doing too much but being messy and not really showing much of your storyline. We understood the high blood pressure. Okay, we hope that's going well for you. Really not in town helping you with your kids, and we understand you're 49 years old, and you don't have the same energy to keep up with them kids. We totally get it. But at the same time, I'm sick of looking at you because you're not doing anything. I feel like your drama is not, in place for a wow factor on the show. I just feel like you're just there just to be there. I think you sold something that you couldn't deliver on. That's just my point of view being on the show. But that's it for that scene, y'all. I'm gonna move on. You have anything else you want to add before I move on? She said no. Okay, so Glenn pops up on Letitia, which she was surprised to see him there. This ain't the only time she's gonna be surprised in this episode to see him. There was another point, but we'll get to that in a minute. He pops up on her and asks her to put his song that he rapped under her corporation name. Now, what's funny about this scene to me is because you just got on her about how your name isn't on any of the contracts for the commercial, but now you want her to house your little song. I was like, see, this is where it makes me feel like you was doing that commercial little situation to poke at her. And that's really what that was. How did you feel about that scene? Because I just felt like for me watching that, I felt like I was wasting brain cells.
I think the people who take Glenn and Letitia's scene seriously need to like wake up and remember that parts of reality TV are not reality. This couple is fine when they're not on camera, but then when they're on camera, they have all these problems. I call bullshit on them, and I'm tired of them.
Me too. So getting to the last scene of this, because I don't even care no more. I'm tired of talking about them too. So Marie and Letitia are at a little lounge that looked like it was about to close, but Everybody was bunched up at one little table, and they're talking. And as they're talking, Glenn is supposed to be on his way to work, and he's supposed to be on the boat and supposed to be gone. So Letitia feels like she has a break. But as they're talking, Glenn pops up, and Marie was like, "What the hell? How do you even know we're here?" And so when Letitia looked, now that looked genuine to me. She literally looked like she did not know he was gonna pop up on her. And I said, "Wow, that was a query cortex. Because why are you there? Why are you popping up? Why aren't you at work? Y'all act like you don't need this check. What is going on here?" I was like, "See, this is what I be talking about with Marie and Glenn. I mean, not Marie, but Letitia and Glenn. It's like, come on, y'all. This shit looks staged as hell. And it's like, what is going on here?"
The only thing I'll say about that scene is I'm sick of Marie. You are never going to be a good friend to anybody if you don't learn to shut that hole in your face that you call your mouth. Because stop arguing with this woman's husband. Stop starting shit. Stop. Just stop inserting yourself into other people's relationship. Just because your marriage did not go well, you've been cheated on in the past, and you like women and you don't want to admit that. Just because that's your story doesn't mean that's everybody else's story. Like, I really don't like that. And that has nothing to do with marriage or anything like that. I think as friends, we should not overstep our boundaries when it comes to the people your friends choose to date. Like, have your opinions, you know, to your friend or to yourself, but when it comes to like confronting and arguing with the spouse of your friends, that's whack. So that's all I'll say.
I agree. And those are my sentiments exactly. I feel like I hate to see Marie argue with this man and make it seem like it's protection of Letitia, because that's not what it's coming across as. It's coming across that he does not trust you with his wife and he has a high concern. But as I say, I really feel like she doesn't really want Letitia. If anything, we know she want Essie. So, and that's alleged, y'all. I know she ain't came out. That's alleged. But I'm just saying, I just really wish Marie was just stop playing with us. Essie is beautiful, and ready for you. Y'all both got lupus. Y'all both got so much in common. Y'all already business partners. Why not just make it all the way official?
The thing
That
of
was
it is, that's what those two. I just want Marie gone. That's it. Just leave it there. I'm tired of this woman.
Well, Carlos, you heard it here first. We don't want Marie back next season. We don't want Aikisha back next season. I don't want Tamber back next season. Letitia, no, I don't know. No. Letitia, fine. I don't really care. Latrice, fine. I don't really care. Oh, Sophia Shante. I forgot about that whole scene with her and Aikisha. She said, like, I forgot about that. That's because I don't like talking about her. Yeah, I don't like talking about her. That's why.
Annoys the crap out of me, and
yeah, but that's it, y'all. That's Belle Collective, because I don't feel like talking about them no more, because this episode was boring, but it just made me mad. But I was glad I told y'all I was right, because when I pulled up that shit, the Fair Street on the Google map, and showed y'all that it was dilapidated and wasn't nothing on there but two businesses. I'm telling y'all, I had a comment up in there and say, well, no, she can get it done. She owns land. Obviously, she couldn't. So to that little person that had that comment on my page, I hope you watch this video. I hope you realize if you watch that episode, just like I said, we knew Aikisha couldn't do it, and I'm not even going to go any further. Thank you, Aikisha, for trying, but you know what? We need real money on there. That's all I'm saying. But that was the episode, you guys. Anything you want to add, Mrs. Best?
Maybe Ferris Street is like historic land, because I know when things are like viewed as historic by the state or the federal government, you can't just buy it. There's stuff that you have to agree to. So other than that, no.
All right, y'all. Well, that was the end of this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, comment with us. I do respond to all comments, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. We can all have our own opinions here. Thank you guys for all being respectful. We are trying to grow our platforms, y'all. This is not easy to do. So, but we do thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you on the next recap, which is in about 5 minutes. It is Real Housewives of Potomac. Y'all are not going to want to miss it, y'all. I promise. And I will see you on the next review. Bye-bye.